So you'll be able to get that to sit snugly on there.
Okay.
And you want it to be a perching on top anyway, don't you?
I do.
So that you can wear it to lunch.
But in terms of, so you see how you've done 14 plus the 14?
Yeah.
This would only be, what, like
10
5
bitty.
centimetres, so I can just do like 10.
Whatever height you want.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So you use the measurements that suit the piece that you're doing.
Okay.
That's a good question. Anyone else got any questions? Sunday, are you happy? Very good. Anyone else got questions before we finish? Beautiful.
I do.
Yeah, what? Hello.
If you're doing that extra, because the first one is just a single fold.
Yeah.
And what if you're going to the extra layer? Does that just end up being book folded, or how does that work?
When you, if you just cut it so that it's identical in size and shape to the first one, so there's number 1 and there's number 2, then you lay them out and make sure that they've been pressed and they're graph paper before you cut them, so that you're not cutting a bias on a wavy bit of cinnamate.
Yeah.
Then you just pop them on top of each other, and when you're doing the seam, you'll be seaming 2 layers at once, and that's really useful for all of those of you who are doing the double layer. So if you look in here, you can see that there's a seam that is seaming them both at the same time, and I've actually just folded them all in the same direction. You could split that out, but it seems to just have its own mind, and that was fine for me. Okay?
So it's essentially 2 pairs. And so then you get them.
I've actually got 2 and I'm treating it as 1.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought.
Thank you, that's a good question, I'm glad you clarified that. Oh, by the way, also, with your 2 layers, you can't see it readily, but I've got a tacking stitch going on the straight grain, so it's zigzag, but the zigzags are that big, the zigs and the zags are quite long, and they go along the point where it will be folded. This is for those of you in future who might want to do something that's a bit more dense, and that way the 2 layers behave as 1 layer when I'm manipulating this later on. So that's a really useful thing. You can do that while it's lying flat, or you can do it, you can locate the fold and do it when you've made it into a cylinder. Oh, and when you've got this, you line these all up, and then you can just zoom across it on the sewing machine, or if you don't feel like using the sewing machine, you can just use back stitch or a little top stitch or whatever you fancy to sew that together, so it's nice and neat. Thank you.